Everybody has to do it. Today, everything you need to know about online check-in on Disney Cruise Line. That's on the DIS Unlimited's DCL Show. Hello and welcome to the DIS Unlimited's DCL Show. I'm Chris Forbeck, one of the agents at Dreams Unlimited Travel. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And today we're continuing our DCL 101 series, getting you ready for your Disney cruise. Oh, are you excited? I can't wait to get on a Disney ship. I know this may sound a little bit boring, but everybody has to do this, and it's going through online check-in. And so we're going to walk you through it, give you a bunch of pro tips, so all to make the process a little bit easier. And let me introduce my colleague here and in all these programs, Dreams Unlimited travel agent Elaine Edwards. Elaine, how are you?
Good morning, friends.
And we do get a lot of questions about online check-in, so we're going to delve into this and give you all our pro tips. So it should be a good meaty show for you. Before we get into that, let me pay the bills. This show, along with everything we do at the DIS Unlimited, DCLFan.com, UOFan.com, all of it brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. We are the experts at helping you plan a magical Disney cruise, a visit to a Disney theme park, your Universal adventure. Ooh, I'm heading to Epic next week. So excited. And even other cruise lines. No additional cost to book with Dreams Unlimited Travel. None. But we're going to give you insights into your Disney cruise ship, your Disney World hotel, the new Helios. If you're going there, we'll tell you all about it because we've been. And by booking your Disney cruise with Dreams Unlimited Travel or any cruise, you get a shipboard credit of up to $1,000 depending on the price of your cruise. I know we always hear you don't get money for nothing, but this is free money to spend on board. Does not cost you one dime. Best way to get started, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And we like to be transparent here with you. So yes, both Elaine and I are Dreams Unlimited travel agents. This is our job. It's what we do. But we also love Disney and we love Disney Cruise Line and we want you to have the best time possible. Our job, both here on this podcast and as agents, is to give you information so you can make the best decisions for you and your family. And we hope you book with Dreams. By doing that, it helps us do this. But if you don't, we also still hope you have an amazing trip. So, okay, enough of all that. Online check-in. Elaine, let's start with what this is, why it matters, because, you know what? I forgot. We're going to add in at the top of most shows, we're going to talk news. And so there was a fairly significant, and again, this is kind of boring, but it matters. Disney Cruise Line instituted a new policy about vacation protection plan. And it's a fairly significant change for folks, right?
Okay, so with Disney's vacation protection plan for Disney Cruise Line specifically, this is different than Disney World, Disneyland. Right. You now have to be either a U.S. citizen or Canadian citizen. It used to be that it did not matter where you lived. You could do this, but now it's U.S. or Canada. So that is a big change. And as always, we recommend that anytime you are booking a cruise, look at vacation protection. It is a big deal. You don't have to get it through Disney Cruise Line. Look at Disney Cruise Line. Look at your credit card. See what coverage it offers you. Check out insuremytrip.com so that you can rate and compare. So do your research, see what you need, that kind of thing. So it's yeah. So.
We should note that if you already have Disney Cruise Line transportation, my goodness, my head's all over the place. If you already have vacation protection plan, right, exactly, then it's grandfathered in. You're fine. If you cancel it, it can't be added back in. But if you have it, it's fine. There are essentially three conditions. The booking origin or travel agency is based in the United States. Dreams is. The guest pays for the reservation in U.S. dollars. And the individual guest has to have a U.S. address. So those are the three conditions that now exist that you need to have, and all three of those have to be met. And there are other places to get, as Elaine said, we highly recommend vacation protection. And yes, it's the cost of the cruise, but we've just read, we're travel agents, we see the worst stuff. And so sometimes if somebody has to go to the infirmary on board, well, there's a charge for that. Or if you get injured or sick, at one of your destinations, your insurance that works at home may not work when you're traveling. So you need to check into those things. It's important to address those things and make sure you're covered. So, but we'll have more on. You can find more on DCLfan.com, and I'll include it as part of the show notes. So let's talk online check-in.
I have a piece
Elaine,
of news. I actually have a piece of news that I didn't even.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So this is news/rumor. I've started seeing some people talk about this, and I had a guest ask me about it. The Disney Adventure. Now, this is the ship that's going to be based over in Singapore. I don't know if you've heard about this, but in the November, it will be in Los Angeles. And so I've had people asking, oh, can you get me on the ship? We don't know anything yet. No, they've not made any official public announcements, but here's the thing. I can only assume that what is happening in November is this is going to be test sailings. It's going to be media sailings. It's going to be PR events. It's going to be stuff like that. This is not going to be public cruises that we can book you on. Now, if you happen to live in the Los Angeles area and you went, you could see it come and go at the port. But this is likely going to be like situations, Chris and I have both been on media cruises before, where travel agents, bloggers, news sources, all of that, they're going to be invited to do this because it's going to be a lot more convenient than trying to get all of these people to Singapore to do these kind of things. I still want to advertise the ship. So that is my assumption is what's going on. So I wanted to put that out there because people are starting to hear about this and see it and that kind of thing. So that's what it is. Once we get more information, we will obviously share it with you guys, but that's where we are now with the adventure.
And yes, a Disney Adventure. Yeah, I agree with your assumptions. I think this is going to be media stuff, and it's going to be interesting to see because the Disney Destiny, we assume, will have a they'll do all that for the Disney Destiny, which it launches in November 20th. So there's
the same kind of time frame.
It's going to be a lot of stuff going on in November. So and I think there's a holiday in there in November sometime too, right? I mean, it's going to be a lot going on. So that's a great one. And I have a Disney Destiny. I have a friend in Singapore, so I'm have a Disney Destiny scheduled. I'm very excited. Let's talk online. Disney Adventure, correct? Thank you. Online check-in. So let's talk a little bit about why this matters. Online check-in, everybody has to do it. If you're sailing concierge or you're an inside stateroom, everybody's doing it. And we get lots of questions. So we're going to try and address some of those. Elaine, let's start with why online check-in matters and what is it kind of the very high level. This basically makes the online, when you get to the port, it makes it all much easier, right?
Yes. So that's the benefit to you, is that it makes everything go faster at port. The other things are kind of when we're planning our vacation and we're going in the Disney bubble, we don't want to think about all the outside things, but there's outside things, legal things, maritime laws, all of that lovely stuff that still has to happen as well. So when you go through your online check-in, we're going to go through it step by step, but you are essentially providing your citizenship documents, your proof of this is who I am, who I'm saying that I am, that kind of thing. And you do this relatively early in advance to give Disney time to check all of your documents. Now, I have a lot of people that will freak out and they'll be like, it's been saying pending for a week.
We're going to touch. Let's get to pending in a second after we get through all the. But let's talk about when. This is determined when you do online check-in is determined by your Castaway Club membership level. Concierge and Pearl will go first at 40 days, and then Platinum, Gold, Silver, and then new Disney cruisers, they start 30 days before departure. It's at 12 midnight Eastern. I don't know it'll be interesting to see when the Disney Adventure actually launches, if they're going to have a different time. My guess is it'll be Singapore time, but for all the other ships, 12 midnight Eastern is when you can do that. And I know as a result of that, people often stress out, do I have to do it at midnight? How important does doing this at midnight? Is that important? Does it matter?
So here is kind of a couple things. If being the first one on the ship is the most important thing to you? Yes. However, it's not necessarily that. We're going to get to the point, but essentially the reason that people want to do it so early is because they want to choose their online, they want to choose their port arrival time, and
Yep.
and then you'll get assigned a boarding group. Now, if you are concierge, you will be allowed to arrive anytime, and so you do not need to do it right at midnight. As well, if you are taking Disney transportation, again, you do not need to do it right at midnight because you will be automatically assigned these port arrival times and boarding groups. So that kind of can give you a little bit of ease that you don't have to stay up till midnight and do it. But if being the first one on the ship is important to you, then get ready at midnight.
And there's a couple of things you can do before that night comes, and Dreams agents will provide you with this so you can be prepared for that, because you don't want to be scrambling getting all this stuff together when you're tired at midnight. If you're on the West Coast, it's 9 o'clock. It's much better, but still have all this stuff together. Essentially, the things you want are your Disney Cruise Line reservation number. This is that 8-digit number. It probably starts with a 4. It's not a Dreams number, but that number is the one you want. You need to have logged into Disney Cruise Line and have your Disney account and all that information pulled together. You need your whatever citizenship documents you're going to use. We always recommend passports, and we're going to go into this a couple times. That's one of the critical pieces. Have an image of it, a photo, something, because you're going to have to upload that. You're going to need your travel details, flight information, driving, all those kinds of stuff, where you're staying. You're going to need that kind of stuff. Payment information so you can pay on board, usually a credit card or something like that. And then you're going to have to take a security photo. This is the most boring photo that you want. Elaine, this is the security photo is one of the things that often gets highlighted and causes a problem because people will have glasses or they make it a glamour shot. Make it boring. Make it boring as possible is what I always tell folks, right?
Yes. So the process of this photo is this is what the cast member is going to see anytime you get on or off the ship. They're going to scan that either if you're using a magic band or if you're using a key card, they're going to scan that. Their computer's going to pop up. It's going to say who you are. They're going to see that photo. They want to compare it to the person standing in front of them, which may be the person that is sunburnt and ragged from being on the beach all day. So they got to look somewhat similar here. And I do have a pro tip on this. A lot of people find that, myself included, and this has happened for the last 5 years since we started online check-in. It seems when it gets to this point that you're uploading this photo, the website will get hung up and it'll just be spinning and that kind of thing. And I've had a lot of other people confirm to me that they have this problem as well. And so what I have started doing, it works great. I tell my clients it works great, is that, you probably just took that picture on your phone, took a selfie, that kind of thing. It's going to be a very high resolution photo. So open that picture on your phone, take a screenshot of that photo, then upload that screenshot. It's going to be a lot smaller in size. It's going to go a lot quicker rather than the site get hung up and you have to start all the way from the beginning from scratch again. So that is my huge pro tip that have helped so many people.
And have what I tell folks to do is pull all this stuff together before. Like if you have kids, have them stand in front of a white wall. Don't you I have all sorts of stuff behind me now. Don't do that. Make it just a stand in front of a clean wall. Take a just normal, boring headshot, shoulders up, no glasses, no hat, stuff, and put all that stuff either put it on a folder in your. I have one because we cruise a lot, and I just have DCL check-in, and have all that stuff, your passports, all that stuff pulled together already. That way, all you have to do is upload it up. It makes it nice and easy, and do all that beforehand. You don't have to wait until midnight to be pulled and all that stuff together. There is one, the flight stuff, like they asked exact flight details. it is my frustration. Like, you can do this now. There's all sorts of systems that will pull in. You just type in the number and the date, and it'll pull in all the other details. I don't know why they don't do that on Disney Cruise Lines. Disney Cruise Line, add all that stuff. Make it easy for folks. You have to put the time and arrival time, and I don't understand why we have to do that. But you have to key all that in. So have your flight time. Pull all that stuff together beforehand, so you're not stressing about it that night. The result of
mistake. I want to add a common mistake that people make when putting in their flights. Now, you will need, if you're like me and you have to take 2 flights to get to Florida, you do have to enter both of those in. Now, the biggest mistake we see people make is that when they are entering their flight information, they have that cruise date in their head and they are thinking, I'm getting on the ship May 5th. So they put their flight date as May 5th, even if they're coming in on May 4th. Because they're going to stay overnight because we've directed them to, because it's best practice. But they put in, they're flying in May 5th. If you have Disney transportation on your reservation as coming from a Disney hotel or the MCO Hyatt, and you enter in that you are coming in on the same day as your flight, it is going to drop those transfers, remove them from your reservation. We have seen this happen so many times, and I tell people about this, and I'll say, we have to call Disney Cruise Line. We have to take out all the flight information. We have to re-add the transfers, repay for them, all of this. And I tell the guests, you need to redo your check-in, enter in your flight information, and then they'll do it again. And the flights will drop again, and we have to do it. So please, 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 take your time. Read the question. Enter in the information slowly so that you don't mess something up by entering in things wrong. So
the result of all of this is your port arrival form. This will have QR codes on it, and this is what you will use when you check in at the port. They will just scan this. They're going to check all the stuff that you have provided for them. So you need your passport or whatever citizenship document you need. These days, get a passport. There's a lot going on right now. Go get a passport. It makes it easier. So they're going to check all of that stuff. I just had a client who lost his passport. He had a had a photo of it. So they uploaded that, and then it got lost, and so had to get a new one, got one in time. And so but in the meantime, they uploaded a birth certificate. And so everything you uploaded, they're going to check again, make sure you have it with you. And Elaine, what do you tell folks about, I kind of say I'm a nervous traveler. So I like having a paper copy. I have it on my phone. I have it a bunch of places, because I want to make sure I have that.
Yes, I 100% agree with that, because here's the thing, we like to rely on our phones a lot, but when you get in the situation that you're at the port and there's 1,000 people around you, cell service may not be that great. You're not on the ship Wi-Fi yet, that kind of thing. So having a paper copy is great. I personally like to make things super easy. And when you get to the end of that online check-in, or you can even go in days later, especially if you're doing online check-in on the computer. If you have an iPhone, you can go in and you can actually download your port arrival card to your wallet on your iPhone. It makes everything super, super easy. I was just pulling it up because I keep every single one of them. I don't know why. It's just kind of fun to look back on every cruise that I've ever had, but it will just look just like that. And all you have to do is they will scan it. It's already saved on your phone, so it's not pulling from any internet or anything like that. And yes, I like to have just a little plastic sleeve, and I put all of the birth certificates, passports, the printout of the port arrival time, all of that stuff in there. Even if we have any excursions booked or activities, I print those confirmations, put it in there. That way it's all in one place. I am the only person that holds it. Nobody else in my travel party gets to hold it, and I know that I've got it all together.
You mentioned this earlier, and let's talk about the very, very concerning pending. So when you go through that process, it's going to say pending, and we get lots of calls, people saying, "Does this mean I can't travel?" What do you tell folks when they see that pending? Outside of,
Yes.
"Don't worry, calm down, it's fine."
Exactly. Calm down. So every once in a while, we do see people that within a week or a few days, it will click over and say approved. I think that that is more of the exception than the rule, because I was just talking to a cast member the other day that is one of our regular like Disney Cruise Line like booking cast members, but she for several weeks was working in the actual cast members that sit and look at these documents. These are manually reviewed. And for the most part, they're going in cruise order. So mine never say approved till like 4 or 3 days before the cruise. And if for some reason they're not approved, they will send you an email. It'll say exactly why it's not approved and what you need to do so that you can re-upload the information. But don't freak out. Everything is fine. For the most part, you're not going to have any issue. I will tell you, I did have an issue. I have only had this issue once in all of the cruises I have ever done. Edwards is not the name on my birth certificate because Edwards was my married name. And so did have one time that this was before it's like my passport was in processing. So I uploaded my driver's license and my birth certificate, and the last names were not the same. And it got rejected because the last names were not the same. So keep that in mind if you are using a birth certificate and a driver's license, that you need some sort of paper trail that you can prove that it's still you. I've only had that happen one time. There's been other times I've used a birth certificate and driver's license and it went through. So yeah. That's the kind of thing that they're going to come back with, or if you don't take a clear picture. And also why we say that it's very, very, very important. The name on that document must match the name on the reservation. You need to, when you are booking this cruise, you need to look at, what does my passport actually say my name is? Because I am very surprised at the number of people that come back to me and say, well, I just looked at my passport and this is actually the name on it. And it's not the name that they think it is. So please, 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 especially, if you were named one thing, but your family called you something else, look at your birth certificate, look at your passport, look at your driver's license. Make sure everything is the same, and that is the same name that you provide to Disney Cruise Line or to your travel agent, including a middle name. All of that needs to be in there.
Yep. And all that stuff. I always stress that stuff to folks. It just makes, the sooner we get it, the easier it is all the way through. And the citizenship stuff, I cannot stress this enough. This is one of the things that can prevent you from getting on board the ship. If you don't have that right, you can be prevented from sailing, even though you've paid everything. And guess what? The cruise contract is in there too. It's one of the things that you can read. If you don't have that right, it's on you, not on them. So just, you don't want to end up in that place. Make sure you have all that stuff correct and in the right order, and have it with you when you get there. Let's talk a little bit about groups, because when multiple people, and sometimes, I'm a Pearl Castaway Club member, and I'm often traveling with people who aren't Pearl. Not everyone's as crazy Disney cruise as I am. What do you do then? You may have different port arrival times. You may have different boarding groups. How do you tell people to manage this?
Yes. So I have had several of these situations recently. I had one of my very, very, very good clients. He recently celebrated a wedding anniversary. He was taking his daughters with him. So they had 3 different rooms, and the people were different castaway levels, and some people were coming from a Disney resort where others were driving straight there. So there was a lot of this kind of thing going on. And so what we tell people is, yes, you can only do your online check-in. Remember, we talked at the beginning that there is a specific date based on your Castaway Club status. You can only do the highest status in that room that date. You cannot, if you are a platinum like Chris is, and he's traveling with a brand new cruiser in another stateroom.
Pearl, thank you. Go ahead. Sorry.
He can only do online check-in for his room. He cannot do it for anybody else. And
Right.
you, in general, no matter what your status is, you can only do online check-in for your own stateroom. Each stateroom needs to have their own lead guest with their own Disney Cruise Line account do their own online check-in. What is inevitably going to happen is that you may end up with different port arrival times and different boarding group numbers. Here's the thing. If you're coming, if people are driving in and you're all driving together, they're not going to turn you away.
Right.
Officially, I did not say that out loud. Nobody repeat that. They're not going to turn you away if you come at a different time. The point of a port arrival time is to make sure that all 4,000 people are not trying to walk in the door at 11:15, because that's just chaos. Nobody wants that. So that they want to spread people out so that it is a better experience for everybody. The boarding group number, that is different from your port arrival time. Your port arrival time is your port arrival time, not your boarding time. So people ask, do we need to show up half an hour early? No, just show up when it says to show up. So boarding group number. If you have a situation that you have multiple rooms and you have one room is boarding group 3 and one group is boarding group 7. The 7 cannot board with the 3. However, the 3 can board with the 7. So if you have multiple rooms, and it is very important that you get on that ship together so that they can announce your name when you step on that ship and you take all the videos and the pictures and yay, Mickey, then just everybody wait. When the latest boarding group is called, you can all go on together and everything will be just fine.
Yeah. And I often tell folks, set up a place. If you're going to do it at separate times, I have this a lot with concierge guests. One room is going concierge. That if every people can board concierge group, if you're concierge. If you're not concierge, if you have one concierge room and others that aren't, they can't all go together. So, I mean, the concierge people can go with the non-concierge guests, but the non-concierge guests will have to go. So it's not a huge deal unless you want that video of all you walking in together. Choose a place where you can all meet up on the ship. And I often choose up on the pool deck. There's some quiet areas that are near the dining, quick service dining. You can get a beverage. People can go, and if they want to swim, it's a nice place to kind of meet up. Or you can meet up in one of the dining locations. Find a place where you're going to all gather and set up that place. And it's a nice way to do it.
I have one more. I'm sorry.
Yes,
and this is good for groups or for anybody. If you do your online check-in and let's say the earliest port arrival time is 1:00. It's never going to be that. But let's say you got a 1:00 port arrival time and that is absolutely breaking your heart. Once you get to about a week before your cruise, go ahead and log in again and go to that part in the online check-in. And because what I see happen a lot is that once you get within a week, a few days, they kind of just open up all of the times again, and you can go in and you can get an earlier time. So if that is very important to you, then that is a trick that you can use to possibly get an earlier port arrival time.
And I think that I know Elaine doesn't always she's not as concerned about Porter. What I generally tell folks, right? Yeah, I mean, you sometimes go a little later on purpose.
Yes, I always go later.
You won't be as much in the cattle call, and it's a much more calm experience.
Right. That's the thing, is that for me, I've talked many times on this show that I get very overwhelmed on embarkation day because it's a lot of people, it's a lot of noise. I'm hot, I'm hungry, I am overstimulated, all of that. And so I am the kind of person, I would rather sit in my hotel and enjoy a leisurely breakfast and hang out and that kind of thing, then go to the port and get there at 1:30, 2 o'clock. I've gotten there at 3 o'clock before, and you know what? There is no lines. I can breeze through check-in, I can breeze through security, and I get right on the ship. And there's nobody else there. I'm not fighting anybody to get my perfect picture, my perfect video, anything like that. I love it. It is great. So I will never stress about trying to be the first one on the ship.
The important things about that arrival time is check what time the ship is leaving. They're going to have a final time, and it will be generally on your port arrival form, but check and see what time that ship is leaving. You don't want to literally miss the boat. Don't do that. That would I would be so disappointed. So some ships are leaving as early as 3 o'clock now. So make sure you know that time and be there before that time. The other piece is if you're doing a 3-night cruise, yeah, that getting there first off might matter more. If you're doing a 7-night cruise, you're going to have plenty of time on the ship. That extra hour, your staterooms aren't going to be ready until probably 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock. So it's not as big of a deal. So it's okay. You're going to be fine. And don't allow things like that to ruin a trip. It's going to be fine. You're going to have time on board. So anything else we need to touch base on?
Yes. So this isn't directly related to online check-in, but I think it's important to bring it up. Also, at 30 days out, there's a few other activities that open up that don't necessarily open up with your cruise activity booking window. Things like the Royal Gathering and stuff like that. Some of these big character meets and things. So people often ask me, well, which one do I do first? Well, what's more important to you? Is getting that 5 princesses and 15-minute picture the most important thing for you and your child? Then do that, because those will sell out very fast.
They'll go fast.
Do that. So that is more important than getting to the port 15 minutes earlier. So just kind of think about that. And that is, it does not matter your castaway status, whether you're gold or silver or your first cruise, it all opens up at 30 days out. So just kind of be aware, especially if you're on one of these special sailings, like a Marvel Day at Sea, they will have these special Marvel photo opportunities. That's when you book those.
And again, if you're busy trying to scurry down and take down all the notes, we're going to have it all. You find it on DCL Fan. Just look up this. We do a show notes page associated with this particular podcast, so you can just find that. We're going to delineate it all out for you, so you have it all in one place. But hopefully, a lot of good information will decrease your stress about online check-in and answer some of the pending questions. Have your passport. There's my pro tip. With that, we're going to bring things ashore. As I noted, there's going to be much more. DCLfan.com, and we have a whole section where we're going to tell you all about that. Have links to these. I have a step-by-step instruction so you can actually see it before you do it. So hopefully that will be really helpful for you. You can find that at DCLfan.com. So as always, we'd love for you to book with Dreams Unlimited Travel. Literally, it helps pay for what we do here. And I'll tell you, I was a Dreams client before I was a Dreams agent, so I really understand the value, and it's more than just a ship credit. The best place to start, as always, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Select your Disney cruise on the first page, and then your itinerary. On the second page, at the top, there's a pull-down menu with all of the Dreams agents. They're all awesome. But if you want to select Elaine, you can select Elaine. Elaine, how can they reach you if they want to reach out otherwise?
My email is Elaine, ELAINE, at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
And if you want to reach me, I'm Chris V at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Yes, there's a Chris. So I'm Chris V at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Love to hear show ideas. If there's somebody to let me know that we've been mispronouncing Bahamian rather than Bohemian. So thank you for those notes. I appreciate that. Thank you all for joining us. A special thanks to our producer, Jimmy Valdez. Jimmy, I didn't introduce you earlier. I'm sorry about that. I totally forgot. Shame on me. And of course, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Depending on where you're watching, hearing this, please subscribe, leave us a review. It really does help. And apparently there's something called algorithms. They really help us. So all that helps, and we really appreciate it. And if you have show topics, you can leave them on YouTube. You can email me, DCL Fan, our Facebook page. There's a bunch of people discussing Disney Cruise Line, just a bunch of ways to touch base with us. So thank you for that. With that, safe travels, and we'll see you real soon.